Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why your silence empowers you. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So silence, this is very empowering. It is something that you need to maximize. You need to take advantage of. You see, what the narcissist wanted to do when you were in that relationship with them was they wanted to manipulate you and take advantage of you. And they wanted you to not have a voice. So they silenced you. You weren't heard. You were subservient. You were the unpaid helper, the walking apology. You were the sounding board. You were the person who was taking all of the punishment that the narcissist was administering. Now, that was then, this is now. Now you need to utilize your silence, because your silence is not only empowering, but it is a superpower post-narcissistic relationship. The reason why that is because when you no longer are in communication with the narcissist, meaning going no contact, blocking, etc., that's a huge step in your healing path. It's a huge step in your life. That sends a clear, succinct message to said person, i.e. the narcissist, that you know what they are, you know who they are, and you want nothing to do with them. Now, if you can't go no contact, I understand that, but try your best to not only work towards going no contact, but removing yourself from any toxic person in your life. Having said that, your silence is empowering, because when the narcissist no longer matters to you and you want nothing to do with them, which is a great day and it's a great experience to be living the rest of your life toxicity free. When that happens, that's when you realize, okay, I've applied the tools, I've acquired the wisdom, I've seen poor behavior, I've experienced things that people can't even fathom, can't even wrap their head around, and I was in, yes, a toxic narcissistic relationship. Now that I'm out, or I've healed and I am healing, or both, now I understand that my silence is key. My silence gives me my energy back for myself. I no longer will be thinking about where the narcissist is, who they're with, what they're doing, etc. I won't care about their circumstances, their hair color, what clothes they're wearing, who they're with. I won't even care about the new supply. Yes, many people, and I do understand this, are caught up with the new supply. They want to know who it is and etc. I understand all that. In time, in your time, you will finally realize that the new supply is getting punished just like you were, or the new supply is a toxic person themselves. Either way you cut it, the narcissist is still the narcissist, and they will still either be dishing out the abuse, or if they themselves got manipulated, they will be being taken advantage of by somebody else who turns out perhaps to be the new supply. But when you no longer care about all these things, that's when you've reached, or you are reaching, the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, and you flat out understand all the terms, the definitions in the narcissistic abusive cycle. You know what gaslighting is. You know what triangulation is, my least favorite thing. You know what the smear campaign is. You know what a rage fit is. You know what ghosting is, and you know the games that the narcissist plays, the texting games, the waiting games, the pining games, the I can change games, the if only you did A, B, and C, I could have done X, Y, and Z games. You now know that these are all smoke and mirrors on behalf of the narcissist. The narcissist does not care about anybody but themselves. Now, it took you a long time to figure that out, but once you finally put two and two together, and you got the light bulb moment, and you figured out that narcissism is prevalent on the planet, and you were in a relationship with one or maybe multiple relationships, that these people, they look to target other people. They look to take whatever they possibly can from people. Again, it includes your time, energy, money, love, relationships, your health, etc. But when these people don't matter, and you have boundaries, and you've healed, or you are healing, that's when you will understand that your silence is key. Your silence is empowering. Because no longer do you have to explain anything to anyone. And when I say anyone, I mean anyone. You don't owe one person on this planet anything. You may say, well, yeah, what about my brothers and sisters and moms and dads and etc.? Well, I get it, but if these people aren't there when you needed them, or they weren't there when you needed them, well, then they showed you who they were. You need to understand this. And the same thing is, if you kept on being in their life and helping them out, and they were not even saying thank you, etc., well, you can read the tea leaves right there. But you don't owe anybody anything, and you shouldn't be explaining anything to anyone, and your silence does the talking for you. That is why silence is so powerful. It's empowering. Example, let's just say that you get an email from the boss or somebody at work, and this person doesn't have to be the narcissist. Just say it's the boss or somebody, who knows. and they want you to do something over the weekend. Well, it's the weekend, that's your time. It's not the company time, it's your time. So you can decide if you want to respond to that email or not. Or maybe you figured it out by now that at 5 o'clock on Friday, when you close the laptop up, when you close it, that means you don't open it until Monday morning at 7 a.m. or Monday morning at 9 a.m., which gives you what? That's right, it gives you your weekend back. And what is that? That's silence. It's empowering. You're not thinking about doing all the work that the boss wanted you to do over the weekend when it was your holiday or your birthday, etc. This is what the narcissist or toxic people want to do. They want to live in your mind rent-free. They want you thinking about them. They want you trying to guess what they're going to do next. And they want you to try to put out fires before they're even started. The narcissist looks to disrupt people's energy. And one way they do it is by controlling people's emotions. And when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you were anything but regulated yourself, because you were basically regulating the narcissist 24/7, because they were the priority. You were putting them high on a pedestal. You were doing anything you could for them. That's why I share so frequently. You were the unpaid helper, etc. You were the sounding board. And you were in a relationship with somebody who turned out to be your worst enemy. They didn't love you. They don't love you. They don't love anybody. They don't care about one person on the planet other than themselves. But what happened when you were in that relationship is you were caught up. You were in that devaluation stage. You were in the narcissistic fog. You were in that zombie-like, trance-like state, working for this person, trying to figure out if they could ever improve or get back to who they were in the beginning when you met them, which is during the love bomb / euphoric stage. Well, we now know that it's a cycle of abuse. It's a cycle of manipulation. And the narcissist is the person that's caught in that web, and they want to capture as many other people in that web, and they just want to go crawl their way up to one part of the web and take a little supply from that person, and then crawl back down to the middle and regroup, and then crawl down to the bottom left part of the web and get supply from that. And this is what they do. That's why in each and every narcissist's life, there are dozens, if not hundreds of people that they get supply from throughout their existence. And you may say, well, I was married to the narcissist. It was only me. Well, I don't think so. Think about the smartphone. Think about all the barbecues you attended. Think about all the nights the narcissist didn't come home, or all the doors that were slammed, or all the strangeness that they would do when they took their cell phones in the bathroom for extended periods of time, etc. Think of all these things. Again, I'm not trying to trigger you or upset you. I'm letting you know that you dealt with a lot. You dealt with more than what one person should have dealt with in 500 lifetimes, but that's what you did. That's why you're here in the community. That's why you're getting your cup full, and that's why you're understanding that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third, and there's no room in your life, not now or in the future, for a toxic narcissistic person. That's why you have boundaries, and you can say no, the strongest word in the English language. And remember, when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. But all of these things, they go back to what I'm mentioning. Your silence is empowering. You see, you don't have to explain to anybody what that relationship was like. You don't have to defend why you stayed in it so long, because you will have people, naysayers or critics, or people who think they know the relationship that you were a part of. And these people are the people that have never been in a toxic relationship, or they're toxic themselves and they're just trying to twist the knife in you. Either way, when you are listening to other people who think that they know that you were in a relationship, and just go back out there. There's someone for you. You can date again. It's so easy. What's the problem? It's been over a year. I can't get it. Why are you still? Well, the reason why is because you're healing. And these people can't wrap their heads around that somebody would have to heal from a relationship. Well, you do, because this is the relationship you need to heal from. That's why you need to slow your life down. You need to insulate and protect yourself in that cocoon of boundaries. You need to read a book, or read books, I should say, watch videos, journal, meditate, heal childhood wounds, see a therapist. You need to really slow everything down and take a good look at that relationship and figure out what it was, not what you thought it was. It was a toxic, debilitating relationship. And yes, did the narcissist know what they were doing? Absolutely they did. They knew every single step of what they were going to do, and they were watching you and testing the relationship and seeing which way they were going to maneuver themselves at what date or what period of time, how to stay in that relationship longer or how to remove themselves, because they always had one foot in the relationship and one foot out the door. And that's the same way they are right now with the new supply. So you may think the new supply is living their best life and they're just doing the greatest thing, and they're off gallivanting the globe with the narcissist and they're just living a life of puppies and rainbows. No, it's a life of gaslighting. It's a life of doors being slammed. It's a life of that person paying all the money and their resources will go to zero eventually. it's a life of the person never even knowing that they're with the narcissist if that person was a clean slate. You see, the new supply does not have it better. They never will have it better, because at one point you were the new supply and you thought you had it great. Remember those days? Yes, I know you do. But it turned out to be a toxic narcissistic relationship. And that's why these relationships just go around in a loop. And the one constant in the narcissistic relationship, it is the narcissist. So why your silence is empowering? It's because when all the people who think that they know you so well, or they think that they can advise you and tell you what to do, when you should start dating, when you should get out there, when you should, etc. Some of those people may have your best interest at heart. I can't tell you that. You'll have to figure that out. But what I do know is they haven't gone through the cycle, and they haven't had to put themselves back together and heal and really understand what it took to be in that relationship and how debilitating it was and how strong you had to be to get out of it in one piece. If they didn't do that, then they can't put themselves in your shoes. They can think they can, but they can't. That's why explaining to people who don't know what narcissism is, it's like a very challenging and frustrating experience, because you think that you're explaining yourself to somebody who will understand you. And you are explaining something to someone who understands everything you're sharing with them, except for when it comes to narcissism, because it's a foreign language to them. It's like an alien landed on the planet and they can't wrap their head around it, that it exists. Well, think about it. Narcissism exists, and for the latter, I can't tell you. That's up for you to decide. But what I'm sharing is, unless you went through it, you don't speak the language I speak. And you can read all the books, and you can watch all the videos, you can take all the courses, and you can know what the terms are, and all that stuff is fantastic. But if you didn't walk one day in my shoes, or in a person's shoes who've actually been through the cycle, maybe even the cycle a few times, and they had to heal, then you can't wrap your head around it. You just can't do it. So having said all those things, that's why your silence is empowering, because going no contact and staying away from the narcissist, it sends a message to them, number one. Number two, explaining yourself to your friends or family members, etc., about what happened. You know, they're going to have a certain threshold. They're going to have a certain waterline where they're not going to be able to take on anymore, and they will get burned out. And I hear this each and every week in the one-on-one sessions that I provide. People burn out their support systems, and the people that they're leaning on to get communication with, maybe it's their brothers or sisters or moms or dads, etc. These people get burnt out because they can't wrap their head around it, and that's not their fault. Those people haven't been in a toxic relationship. So that's why you really need to be careful with who you're communicating with, and that's why your silence is empowering. Now, there are many different nuances to why your silence is empowering. I'm going to share a few more before I close the video. One would be, when you're healing post-relationship, what you really want to do is you want to get all the answers to the questions you have. And you're looking for closure, and you're looking for answers as to who that person was, how they could do it, did they really love you, did they really care about you at all, etc. And when you figure out those answers, and it will take time, believe me it will, but when you figure out those answers, then you realize that every single time you are communicating with the narcissist, every time, you are giving them supply. Now, as I've mentioned in so many videos, what is supply to a healthy, stable person like yourself or myself? Well, supply is like, hey, I need to go to the grocery store and buy some more wipes or towels or Clorox, whatever it is, or Kleenex, whatever these things are. But that's not what supply is to the narcissist. Supply is your energy, it's your attention, it's your words, it's communicating with them, which is why when you remove that, you go silent, and the narcissist can't do anything about it. But think about when you were in the relationship with them. You would be explaining, you would be defending, you would be putting out fires, you would be doing anything you could to prop up that relationship and to keep it afloat. And the narcissist was just watching you. And they were watching you, how they could turn your emotions from being calm and let's say in a serene mood or a comfortable mood, and all they had to do was bring up something from 30 years ago, why you burnt the turkey and why the gravy wasn't correct. And then you'll be like, well, what are you talking? Why would you even say that? That was 30 years ago. There you go. See, they got you again. That's why nothing, zero, go no contact, if not now, when, etc. But the narcissist, why your silence is empowering? Because the narcissist needs people. Not only do they need people, but they need to be needed, and they need to control people's emotions. That is why they need to so frequently. You never know what you're going to get when the front door opens with the narcissist. Are you going to get Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde? That's why you're always on eggshells, because you can't figure out who they're going to be from minute to minute. And that's why these relationships do not serve you. They never have, and they never will. And that's why the narcissist knows what they're doing, because they know if you just had a great Saturday morning, let's say, you slept in till 10 because you worked 70 hours during the week and you're getting caught up on your rest and everything, and the narcissist knew that, and they knew that you had a big barbecue to go to that night, or a big event to go to, or a ceremony or something. Well, what did they want to do? Did they want to go with you and enjoy that? Probably not. They would probably say at 10 o'clock after you woke up, they'd say, hey, you know what? I need to go somewhere 3 hours away. Can you give me a ride? Because I think it's better if you drive, because my car is broken. It's in the shop. And you'll be saying, well, yeah, we could do that, but it's going to take 3 hours to get there. And whatever you're going to do, it's going to take an hour and 3 hours back. And I think I'll be late for my ceremony. And they're like, no, we'll make it. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. And so you give them a ride. What happens? Well, that 7-hour trip turns into 9 or 10 hours. You miss the ceremony or the event, and boom, your day's disrupted. And that's what the narcissist does, because they don't want people to just be. They can't have it. They can't handle it, and they can't stand it, because they themselves can't just be. That's why they want to keep people trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state. They want to keep people in the narcissistic fog, never figuring out who they are, and never figuring out what they did to them, etc. So this is why your silence is empowering. The narcissist, post-relationship, they shouldn't know where you are, who you're dating, if you're taking a class, teaching a class, if you're reading a book, writing a book, what your hair color is, how much you've put yourself back to. They should know nothing about you. And conversely, not only should you want to know nothing about the narcissist, but you should know nothing about the narcissist. So I'll share another pro tip with you right now that I shared in a video a couple days ago, which is post-relationship, once you've healed or you're on the healing path, if somebody is reporting to you and telling you, oh, I just saw so-and-so, and so-and-so looks so good, or so-and-so is doing this, and that so-and-so is the narcissist, you need to tell that person, I don't want to hear about it. I don't need to know. And if they continue to do it, well, they just revealed themselves. They just showed you who they were. Maybe it's time to remove yourself and go silent from that person, because what you need post-relationship is you need like-minded people. You need people that care about you. You need people that appreciate you and respect you and love you and want the best for you. You don't want people that are in competition with you. You don't want people that are going to say A, B, and C and do X, Y, and Z. You don't want anybody reporting back to you about the narcissist or about anything from that period of time, because that chapter, it's either closed or it's about to be closed on your behalf. And you need to remember, this is your life. This isn't some movie that someone puts in on Netflix. It's your life. And if people don't respect and appreciate and honor and cherish your life and your wishes, well, then they're not going to fit into your future. You will figure that out if you haven't already. And why I'm saying all these things is because it's part of the healing path. You are becoming a different person. You are elevating, you are ascending post-narcissistic relationship. As I've mentioned in so many videos in the past, there are 3 versions of you. There's the version of you before you met the narcissist. There's the version of you when you were with the narcissist. And then there's the 3rd version of you once you're out of the narcissistic relationship and you've healed properly. That is the 3rd version of you. It's the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. Very few people get there, but either you are there or you are striving to get there. That's when you become the educated empath. That's when you've taken time out and slowed your life down. That's when you've taken stock on all the people you surround yourself with. That's when you can identify a flying monkey from 10 miles away. That's when you did go no contact and maintained it. That's when you removed anything that the narcissist ever gave you, tangible items, pictures, etc. And yeah, the narcissist never gave you anything, I'm sure. Maybe the most expensive thing you ever got maybe was a coffee mug that was from the thrift shop. This is what the narcissist does. They promise you the sun, the moon, and the stars, and they give you absolutely 0. That's why you need to heal from these relationships. And that's why your silence is empowering, because now you know and you can identify who people are rather quickly, because your empathy is maintained, but your awareness is prevalent. And on top of that, your discernment is through the roof. So you can now see someone's words or watch their actions and listen to their words and see if they match up. And if they do, all right, well, maybe you keep them around and you communicate with them. But if they don't, you've already seen that before. You don't need to tolerate it. You don't need to put up with it. And you definitely don't need to address it. That's why your silence is empowering. So if you see toxic behavior and you notice it and you've identified it, you don't call the person out and explain and say, hey, are you the narcissist, or what's with you? What's the problem? You just observe and you say, yeah, I was down that road years ago, It almost took me down for the count, but it didn't. And I remember those behaviors, and I remember that smirk, and I remember being hung up on, and I remember getting all the early morning emojis with hearts and puppies and unicorns and love bombing and all that. And I remember going to dinners and being triangulated with the wait staff or complete strangers. And I remember having to wait for this person who turned out to be the narcissist, and wait and wait and wait for their texts, their calls, for them to get ready to go somewhere. And I remember holidays would come up and we'd exchange gifts, and I would put a lot of time and energy and money and thought into the gifts. And what would the narcissist give you? Oh, didn't have time to get something this year. Maybe next year we'll get something. This is what happens. See, that's why you need to remind yourself. You need to remember of all the poor behaviors in the past that were administered by the narcissist. And I'm not saying think about these every day. I'm saying you need to brush up on your skills, and you need to remember where you were in the past with the narcissistic relationship. That's why you were oversharing when you were with the narcissist. That's why they knew everything about you. That's why they were 3, 4, 5 steps in front of you the whole time. That's why you tolerated the poor, because you didn't know narcissism existed. Now you do. And what happens when you do and you heal, and you've healed properly, or you're healing? That's when you realize that your silence is empowering. You see, many people have tried to capture and steal your beautiful, bright, shining light, your essence, your aura, your soul. And guess what? They couldn't do it. You're here. You're stronger than ever. And now you realize that not everyone is who they appear to be, number one. Number two, that everyone does reveal themselves in time. And number three, that you're a changed person. And most people will not be able to understand or recognize you post-narcissistic relationship once you've healed, because you're a different person. You have boundaries now. You're not the same person you used to be in the past. And that's a great thing. You may not see it that way right now, but it's a great thing, because once you heal and you heal properly, you are in rarefied air. And again, you will arrive at, or you have arrived at, that mountaintop, that pinnacle of indifference, if you continue to work on yourself, you continue to improve, and you continue to become awakened and aware, educated, and empowered. So your silence is extremely empowering. It is powerful, it is necessary, and it is a tool that must be used on this thing called life post-narcissistic relationship. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I've created so many videos on silence because it's a very powerful tool, and it's something that is underutilized and underappreciated, but yet it works the best. It's a very, very, very important tool post-narcissistic relationship to have the ability to not share information, not overshare, and not trust everybody's words being for what they are. That's why you have to use your discernment, and that's why you need to observe, and that's why you need to really trust your instincts, your intuition, and above all, pay attention to red flags. When you see a red flag, you're probably going to see a couple more. That is how the narcissist entered your life in the beginning, because you didn't trust your instincts, you didn't pay attention to your intuition, and you ignored the red flags. That's what we all did, but that's why we're different people now, and we've elevated and ascended. So really be kind to yourself, really be patient with yourself, but continue to understand that as long as people are on the planet, people will try to zap your energy, take your time, steal your resources, and to keep you trapped. We already went through that cycle once, maybe even a couple times. No longer are we doing that. That's why people need to jump through hoops to communicate with us, or to have time with us. And if we want to spend or communicate with other people, we do it. If we don't, we don't. You know why? Yes, because no is the strongest word in the English language. So remember, your silence is empowering. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.